So for this video, I'm just going to go over some acceleration drills that you can do just to help you with your acceleration, just get you moving around the pitch a little bit faster. So you'll see some similarities between this and the agility video that I've done. They are pretty similar concepts really. The only thing with acceleration is I'm just going to do it over a slightly longer distance compared to the agility work, which is a little bit sort of closer and shorter distances to travel. So first exercise we've got 3 cones, nice and simple. So one just here, 5 yards to the left in this example, and then what you're going to do, go back to the start, but you're going to have one 10 yards to the right. So the way that you're going to go through this drill, start this first one, sprint forward, full 180 turn, and then sprint through the 15 yards to this final cone here. As I say, nice and simple drill to do, and just going to help you, doing the 180 turns and just get the speed up a little bit. Second one, so this is about maintaining and accelerating through a curve. So if you're trying to bend your run, maybe if you're a striker going in behind, for any reason really, you might need to run in a curve. So for this one, 2 cones or 3 cones laid out roughly. One here, maybe one in the middle, one at the end. I'm going to start here from a standing position, and you're just going to start running around this curve. If you're already quite fast, quite good at accelerating, have a slightly sharper turn, just going to be a little bit harder for you to maintain that speed and just push a little bit more that way. If you're a little bit slower maybe, or just beginning with this sort of stuff, keep the curve slightly straighter. It will just help to match it to sort of your level, and just over time you can start making it a little bit sharper as you go. Drill number 3, so we sort of did something like this in the agility work, but with this one we're going to have 4 cones, so one here, 10 yards out in a diagonal, 10 yards again in the diagonal, and then 10 yards to the final one. So what I want you to try and do here is when you're starting, sprint, maintain as much speed as you can around this corner. So acceleration is, of course, going from a standing position to top speed as in a shorter distance of time as you can, but it's very rare that you're actually standing still on a football pitch. So maintaining your speed as you go for a turn is also a really important thing for you to have a go at. So yeah, as I say, so from the start, round the cone, maintain the speed, round the other cone, sprint through to the finish then. Nice and simple drills, shouldn't be anything particularly complicated about these. Drill number 4, so very similar to number 3, except with this one, we're going to have a couple more turns that we do, but it's also going to be sharper turns as well. So from the start, 10 yards, 10 yards, 10 yards, 10 yards, get the gist. And you go turn, almost 180 degree turn, 180, 180 degrees, etc. Until you go through to the finish. So obviously if you're setting these cones up, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cones laid out. You could do a couple more, you could do a couple less. Depends on obviously your ability to accelerate and how much you want to sort of push that in your training. And then finally, the last drill is probably the easiest drill of all. So you've got 2 cones laid out, one at the start, one at the finish. From a standing position, what you're going to do is you're going to let your body just lean, and you're going to fall. And when you need to take that last step just to regain balance, that's the point at which you accelerate. What that's going to do is it's going to put your body and your torso into the angle that you need to accelerate. So if you were to sort of take a step behind you and drop, your body angle is going to be the same thing there. This one's going to be a little bit further here. So on some of these it's sort of 10-15 yards. This one here is going to be about 30 yards. So it's a decent distance for you to cover. And yeah, obviously this is going to get you probably up to your top speed by the end of it, if possible. If you've got any questions about this, then just let me know. And yeah, hope that helps.